right, guys, let's get through this test 27 review. And it's all about limits. The first part is complete the table of values to 5 decimal places. Use the table to estimate the value of the limit. I'm punching this function into y equals. And I showed you a couple ways this week where you can take your calculator and get those function values. So I'm just going to plug those in. I'm going to try to get 5 decimal places. Don't know if I can squeeze them in or not. The first one I'm getting 2.20408. Almost got it. Then 0.20040. And then like 0.20004. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And at the 2.1, I'm getting about 0.19608. At 2.01, 0.19960. You can kind of see what's happening. And at this one, I'm getting 0.1996. So both sides are really zooming in on 0.2 or 0.20. So 0.20 is really 1/5. So I'm going to put 1/5 there as my limit. Number 2 says use the table of values to estimate the value of the limit. Then use a graphing calculator to find results graphically. Now, you then have to set up your table here. And what I did, because it's approaching 0, I got really close to 0 from each side. I did like negative 0.1, negative 0.01. You can see what I did on the negative side. Did the exact same thing on the positive side because that's zooming me in closer to 0. So what I'm going to do is just fill in that table. I'm going to take my calculator now. It's going to give me a second. So I'm just going to stop the video. You won't know I stopped it, but I'm going to stop it. When you see it in a second, the whole table is going to be filled out because I'm just punching it in my calculator. And once I fill out that table like that, it's obviously getting closer like to 0.1666666. The 6 is getting close to repeating. Well, if you were to check 0.166 and the 6 is repeating, that's really just 1/6. I also said you can look at your calculator, you can graph it and see if your graph's getting closer to 1/6. I'm going to be honest, that's a hard graph to look at. You really have to hit your trace button to see what's going on, but it's definitely getting closer and closer to 1/6 from both sides, which means that's the limit. Number 3, for a function whose graph is given, state the value of the quantity given, if I could read, if it exists. If it doesn't exist, explain why. Okay, so what is the value of this limit of f of x of this graph as x approaches 1? See a little minus sign means to the negative side, so from the left. So there's negative 1 right here. And as I'm getting closer and closer to it from the left, my graph is getting closer and closer to 2. Remember, it doesn't mean it has to be at 2. It's what is it getting closer to? What's it approaching? It's approaching 2. So now, if that said just this, if it just said limit as x approaches 1, f of x, and didn't say negative, it would be d and e, because from the right side, it's getting closer and closer to 3, but from the left side, it's getting closer and closer to 2, which are 2 different numbers. So our answer is 2, because the negative sign, if the negative sign was not there, it would be does not exist. Number 4, using graphing calculator to determine whether the limit exists. If it exists, estimate the value of 2 decimal places. All right, so I'm going to take a minute, plug that into y equals. And what I did is, first thing I did is looked at the graph, okay, to see what happened in the graph. You can tell, if you really look at the graph there, what you can tell is the graph kind of does, I'm going to draw a little rough sketch here. It's doing this, then all of a sudden it goes like, bam, bam, kind of like that, like a heart monitor. And this side's going like, boom, boom. So what's happening is, as it's coming from the left, it's kind of going down there a little bit. As it's coming from the right, it's going up there. So at the 0, the graph coming from the left and coming from the right are really going 2 different places. So to double check that, I went to table and checked my table, hit second table, and I looked at the 0 and looked what's on both sides of the 0. If you look going greater than 0, the numbers are all positive. From the left to 0, they're all negative, and 0 is an error, which means obviously they're getting, and the numbers are getting bigger, they're getting closer and closer to 1. So what's happening is from the left, they're getting close to -1, and from the right, they're getting close to +1. So those 2 different numbers, so that one does not exist. Hope that explanation was good enough. It's kind of hard just to, without showing you a picture of the calculator, what I'm doing is kind of hard there. So sorry about that. Number 5, x minus y to the 4th power. Remember all your patterns we talked about this week. The exponent's 4, means there's 5 terms in my answer. The first answer is x to the 4th. That's a terrible 4 right there. There we go. Now, because there's a minus sign, the signs are going to alternate, so I'm going to put a minus. The second coefficient is always the same as the main exponent, which is 4. The x is going to go down, the y is going to come up. I'm going to go plus. My x is going to go down, my y is going to come up. Now I'm going to figure out what the coefficient is. I'm going to do NCR. I'm doing 4C. You can pick either exponent you want to. 4C2, they're both 2. 4 times 3, 2. It's going to be 6, and then I'm going to have a minus, and I'm going to have an x and a y cubed. Now, over here is the x cubed and a y. If the exponents are the same, so are the coefficients. The exponents are 3 and 1, coefficients 3 and 1. Plus, and I'm going to end up with my last term, which is just y to the fourth, and it's positive. 1, because the signs alternate. Also, because a negative to an even power is automatically positive. Number 6, a little more work here. Got the fifth power. This is going to be a doozy, so hang in there. Here we go. First term, not 3x to the fifth, but 3x to the fifth. Second term is going to start with a 5. 3x is going down. The 4y squared is coming up. I'm doing NCR. I'm doing 5C2 or 5C3. It doesn't matter. And I'm getting 10. So I'm getting 10, 3x cubed, 4y squared. Squared again. The x's are going up. The y's are going down. I'm going to make this a little smaller so it'll fit. Keep going here. Minus 10. NCR again. I got 10. 3x is going down. The 4y squared is coming up. 5's next. I'm going to 3x is going down. The 4y squared is coming up. And my last term is going to be 4y squared to the fifth. Wow. Now your job, the fun part here, is now you got to multiply all that out. Okay, so 3 to the fifth, 81. Nope. Sorry about that. It is 243. 243 x to the fifth. Now my second term, I'm going to do 3 to the fourth power times 4 times 5, all that stuff. So I'm doing 3 to the fourth, by the way, is 81. So I'm doing 81 times 4 times 5. I'm getting 1620. So I got 1620 x to the fourth y squared. Now I'm doing 10 times 3 cubed times 4 squared. And I'm getting 4320. And now I have x cubed and y to the fourth. Be careful with your y there. Then I'm going to go 10 times 3 squared times 4 cubed. And I'm getting 5760. These are random numbers. X squared y to the sixth. Plus, here we go again, 5 times 3 times 4 to the fourth. And I'm getting 3840 x y to the eighth. And one more term, 4 to the fifth power. I think that's 1024, but I'm double checking here. It is 1024, and then my y is going to be to the 10th. And that's all you do on that one. Before you start thinking, man, that's so much. No. What is so much is writing this right here 5 times and trying to multiply all that out. That would be crazy, crazy. Number 7, good, it's just cubed. I'm saying just cubed because that means there's just 4 term in my answer. First term, you take the first term to the third power. The second term is minus because there's a minus sign in there. Whatever the exponent is, that's your coefficient in your second term. The 1 over x is coming down, the 2 is coming up. Plus, I have 1x is going down, the 2 is coming up. Because the 2 and the 1 are the same exponents, that's also going to be a 3. And my last term is going to be just 2 to the third power. So I'm just going to multiply this stuff out. That's 1 over x cubed. It's going to be 3 times 2, which is 6 over x squared. This is 3 times 2 to the fourth, which is 12 over x. And then 2 to the third power is 8. And there's 7. All right, number 8. Find the sixth term in that expansion. That's a big one. Okay, so the sixth term, here's what I'll try to teach you this week. One of our patterns was that the second exponent is 1 less than the term you're looking for. So if you're looking for the sixth term, the second exponent is 5, which means the first exponent is 13, because 13 plus 5 is 18. Your job is to figure out what the coefficient is. Now, the good thing this time is it's a plus sign, so all the coefficients are positive. You don't got to worry about that. And I'm just going to do NCR. All right, n, remember, n is always your main exponent. So I'm going 18, C, and it's your choice. You can pick either the 5 or the 13. It does not matter. I'm going to go with the 5. So I'm punching in 18, C5, and I'm getting 85, 68. And I would be done, except I still got that 2 in there. All right, so I'm going to go 2. I'm going to do that last answer times 2 to the 5th, which gives me 274,176, x to the 13th, y to the 5th. There's your final answer right there. Probably not going to guess that one right tomorrow, just saying. So make sure you know those steps. The key step in that one, your second exponent's 1 less than the term you're looking for. And number 9, an ODA here, find the amount of an annuity. Just filling the stuff in. Don't forget what the stuff stands for. R is how much the payment is. They're paying $2,000. 1 plus I, the interest rate 6% per year. It's not compounded, just per year. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1.06. to the n power. N means how many payments were there? There were 20. I'm going minus 1, and then 0.06 in my denominator. Now, when I punch this in, I don't know how you go about doing this. Some of us still have a little bit of a hard time punching this in. I'm using the fraction function. I'm just doing the 1.06 to the 20th minus 1 over 0.06. So I'm not even doing the 2,000 first. So when I do this, the fraction part, I'm getting 36.7855912. I'm doing that times the 2,000 now, just to be safe, make sure I don't mess it all up. And this is what I'm getting as a final answer, and you should too, 73,571 and 18 cents. All right, number 10. Number 10 says, basically asking you for a bunch of stuff. Find the common ratio, that's R, the fifth term, and the nth term. No big deal here. Remember how we found R? R is the second term over the first, which is 1/4. There's the first answer. The fifth term is A5. Now, the good news is they gave us the first 4, so you just multiply the fourth one times 1/4. And if you do 1/2 times 1/4, you get 1/8. There's that one. And then the nth term, leave the n in. There's the formula right there. The first term is 32. R, we found out was 1/4 to the n minus 1 power, and that's it. 3 answers, 1, 2, 3. Number 11, much the same except it's arithmetic. It says write the arithmetic in standard form and then find the 100th term. See if you remember this. Standard form, the D always goes in front of your N. The D goes in front of your N. Well, the D this time is negative 2.7, which is kind of a weird D that goes in front of your N. Now, question becomes, what do you do to the D to negative 2.7 to get 15? We're going to add something. So I'm going to do 15 minus negative 2.7 to find out. And you would be adding 17.7. So that's one standard form. If you don't like that, you can use the formula. A n is the first term plus n minus 1 times d. D is negative 2.7. So what I'll have to do here is I'm going to have to distribute the negative 2.7 like this. And guess what you get? Negative 2.7n plus 17.7. Imagine that, the exact same thing. All right, this says find the 100 term. So I'm going to plug in 100 for the n. I get negative 2.7 times 100 plus 17.7. Let's just plug that in. Negative 2.7 times 100 plus 17.7. And I'm getting this. I'm getting negative 252.3, and you should too. All right, last one, finally. Number 12. Let's factor this thing. So I'm going to say e to the x minus 2 and e to the x minus 1 and 0. Now, if that's the case, that means that first e to the x has to equal 2 because the parentheses has to equal 0. The second e to the x has to equal 1 because that parentheses must equal 0. To get rid of the e, I'm going to do natural log of each side. So really all I'm doing is punching in natural log 2. Same thing on this other side. And over here, I don't even have to punch in natural log 1 because anytime I have a 1 right there, e to what power is 1? 0. So no one answer 0. If I punch in natural log 2, I'm getting 0.6931. And hope that helps. Do good tomorrow. I'm here if you need me. See you, bye.